welcome to VOP News at noon. I'm Masinachi Okafo. First, the headlines. Peter Obi says demolition of houses for presidential fleet is a selfish project. CBN investigator discovers 593 illegal US, UK, China accounts operated by Godwin Emefiele. World shifts to regular COVID-19 vaccination immunization as COVAX ends operation. And Lagos government, a special enforcement team impounds over 60 trucks in the Papa environs. Now the details. Vice President Kashim Shettima has charged members of the National Economic Council (NEC) to shelve the idea of vacation in the Yuletide and carrying on with issues of governance to ease the burden of Nigerians hanging on their shoulders. Vice President also said while speaking during the 138th meeting of the National Economic Council, which was held virtually on Thursday, said his principal, President Bola Tinubu, has shown that the challenges inherited by his administration were surmountable and has offered visionary leadership and presented a coherent development plan to assist in the country's pursuit of order, abundance, and stability. Meanwhile, the federal government has named 4 transportation companies that will comply with 50% transportation cut on interstate road transport trips from yesterday to January 4th, 2024. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday approved a 50% discount for interstate road travels and 100% for train trips for Nigerians wishing to travel home to celebrate Christmas with their families. The special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, listed the participatory transportation companies in a post on his X handle, confirming the federal government's announcement. One of the listed transport companies says it has commenced services in line with agreement with government on the 50% slash on transport fares for the festive period. Now, the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections, Mr. Peter Obi, has described the planned demolition of the about 200 houses in the Nwolega community of Abuja to make way for the expansion of the presidential fleet as an inconsiderate project. Now, Mr. Peter Obi described the development as an insensitive project at a critical time when the country is going through untold hardship. The former governor of Anambra State also stated that the focus should be on how to do away with the presidential fleet or reduce it to the minimum to cut costs and save up for more critical projects to help the people instead of demolishing people's homes. Mr. Peter Obi therefore advised the federal government to have a rethink and, most importantly, to ensure that the fellow Nigerians are not rendered homeless for the sake of an unproductive presidential fleet. The Senate has confirmed the nomination of 11 justices appointed as justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. President Bola Tinubu has submitted the names of the justices to the Senate on Wednesday. The approval came shortly after senators debated the report of the Committee on Judiciary and Human Rights, which screened the justices on Tuesday. The committee is chaired by Senator Mohammed Monguno, and the names of the justices confirmed are Jumai Hanatu Sanke, Chidiebere Nwoma, amongst many other justices. A London court has refused to grant an application by Process and Industrial Development (PNID) seeking to appeal the judgment halting the enforcement of $11 billion awarded against Nigeria. In a judgment today, the presiding judge, Robin Knowles, ruled that the award against Nigeria should be thrown out immediately. The judgment is a victory for Nigeria in the huge legal battle brought forward against Nigeria for a collapsed gas processing project in Cross River State, Nigeria, on a breach of contract case that has taken almost a decade to settle. Recall that in October, the High Court ruled that PNID paid bribes to a Nigerian oil ministry official in connection with the gas contract signed in 2010 and failed to disclose these when it took Nigeria to arbitration over the collapse of the deal. The Nigerian Army Council has promoted a total of 49 brigadier generals to major generals. Also, 75 cadets were elevated in the rank of brigadier general. Their promotion is coming after the retirement of the 113 generals on Tuesday. A statement by the Director of Army Public Relations, Brigadier General Onyema Nwachukwu, said the Council approved the promotions of the senior officers today. Brigadier General Nwachukwu, who is one of the newly promoted officers to Major General, noted that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Torid Lagbaja, urged the senior army officers to redouble their efforts to justify the elevation and the confidence reposed in them. Now, the Nigerian Correctional Service says it has no fewer than 53,836 inmates in the 253 correctional centers across the country awaiting trial as at December 18, 2023. Spokesperson of the Nigerian Correctional Service, Assistant Controller of Corrections, Abubakar Umar, made the revelation in Abuja in an end-of-the-year analysis of this service. The Controller Umar said the summary of the inmates across the country by conviction and those on awaiting trial list was 77,849 within the period under review. He said the total number of convicted inmates was 24,013, stressing that the convicted male inmates are 23,569 and 444 convicted are females. Controller Omar noted that statistics shows that 69% of the inmates in custodial centers are actually awaiting trial, while 31% are convicted inmates. Now, the Correctional Service spokesperson said the challenges of the service is the issues of dilapidated custodial structures which resulted to overcrowded and congested spaces within the centers, in spite of government's recent construction of 3,000 ultra-modern additional custodial facilities across the 6 geopolitical zones. Stay with us as we go on a short break.
King Jaja of Okpobo, whose full name was Jubo Jubora, was a prominent Nigerian ruler in the late 19th century. He was born in the early 1820s in the Okpobo region, which is located in present-day Rivers State, Nigeria. King Jaja started as a trader and quickly rose to prominence due to his entrepreneurial skills. He established a successful trade network that extended across the Niger Delta region, dealing in palm oil, palm kernels, and other valuable goods. His business acumen and leadership qualities earned him the respect and admiration of his people. In 1870, King Jaja founded the Okpobo city-state as a trading hub and became its ruler. He established Okpobo as a powerful economic and political entity, attracting traders from various parts of Africa and Europe. However, his growing influence and control over trade routes soon became a concern for the British colonial authorities. Tensions escalated between King Jaja and the British, leading to his arrest and subsequent exile to the West Indies in 1888. Despite being removed from his homeland, King Jaja's legacy as a visionary leader and influential figure in Nigerian history remains. His resistance against colonial domination and his contributions to trade and commerce continue to be celebrated.
Welcome back. The National Bureau of Statistics has disclosed that only 12% of workers in Nigeria were in wage employment as of the end of the second quarter of 2023, because 88% of workers in the country are self-employed. This was contained in the National Bureau of Statistics report for Nigeria Labour Force Statistics Report Quarter 2, 2023, which was released on Thursday. In the NBS report, total unemployment in the period stood at 4.2% as of Q2 2023. Now, the statistics body defined unemployment rate as the share of the labor force, the combination of unemployed and employed people who are not employed but who are actively searching and are available to work. The Quarter 2 2023 NBS report says this aggregation by sex shows that 85.2% of employed men were self-employed compared to 91.0% of employed women. However, the NBS has come under criticism since it changed its employment calculation methodology as the Nigerian Labour Congress, through its National Secretary General, Comrade Chris Onyeka, stated that the figures were not reflective of the current realities in the country, when everyone knows that the rate of unemployment in Nigeria is increasing. Now, the former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, has been accused of illegally lodged billions of naira in no fewer than 593 bank accounts in the United States, United Kingdom, and China without the approval of the Apex Bank's Board of Directors and the CBN Investment Committee. The special investigator on the CBN and related entities, Mr. Jim Obaze, found that the former CBN governor lost 543,482,213 pounds in fixed deposits in UK banks alone without authorization. Mr. Obaze submitted this final report tagged Report of the Special Investigation on CBN and related entities to President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday. The special investigator said he has traced where all the accounts where the billions were lodged. In a letter dated July 28, 2023, President Bola Tinubu had named the former Executive Secretary of the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria, Mr. Jim Obaze, as the CBN Special Investigator. Now, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, who is currently in Kuje Custodial Center, is being prosecuted for 1.2 billion naira procurement fraud. The Presidential Council on Industrial Revitalization, PCIR, has instituted a technical working group who have been assigned the responsibility of enhancing consumer credit across the nation. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anita, highlighted the importance of an efficient customer credit system while speaking at the inaugural meeting of the Technical Working Group for Consumer Finance in Abuja. Dr. Uzoka Anita emphasized its role of improving market efficiencies and bridging gaps in consumption and productivity. She expressed concern over the absence of a well-structured consumer credit system, citing it as a significant impediment to financial inclusion and economic prosperity. Now, Dr. Uzoka Anita said an efficient consumer credit system is a highly essential component of successful economies as it works to improve market efficiencies and fill in gaps in consumption and productivity by providing consumers immediate access to credit, allowing them to purchase ahead of ability. The federal government on Thursday confirmed the commencement of operations at the Port Harcourt Refining and Petrochemical Company in Rivers State. It announced that the facility commenced operations on December 20th, 2023, as the first phase of work at the plant had been completed, adding that refined petroleum products would start flowing from the refinery after the Christmas break. Now, the government had earlier in the year repeatedly stated that the Port Harcourt refinery would begin operations before the end of 2023. Now, the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Oil Senator Henikin Lukbobiri, who led members of the refinery steering committee to inspect the facility, congratulated the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited and Nigerians in general for the feat. Nigeria's refineries in Port Harcourt, Kaduna, and Warri have been dormant for decades, as the federal government has spent several billions of naira to revamp the facilities. Dangote Oil Refining Company says it is set to commence production of petroleum products, paving the way for additional jobs and foreign exchange relief to Nigeria's economy. Reports have it that an additional 1 million barrels of crude oil has been delivered to the refinery 2 weeks after taking the delivery of the first cargo of 1 million barrels. Management of the $19 billion refinery disclosed in a statement on Thursday that it purchased the first 1 million barrels of Agbami crude grade from Shell International Trading and Shipping Company Limited, one of the largest trading companies in Nigeria as well as globally, trading over 8 million barrels of crude oil per day. Now, the statement said that those developments, which has increased total deliveries to about 2 million barrels, represent the first phase of the 6 million barrels of crude oil to be supplied by a range of suppliers. The executive chairman, the African Energy Chamber, ANJ, in an interview said everyone in the sector is excited to see that Dangote Refinery has secured its crude cargoes, which is a significant milestone both for the country and the West African region at large. More stories as well as sports news after this break.
Mariam Makeba was an incredible South African singer and civil rights activist. Zenzile Mariam Makeba, born on 4th March 1932, died 9 November 2008. She was nicknamed Mama Africa, and she was a South African singer, songwriter, actress, and civil rights activist. Associated with musical genres including Afropop, jazz, and world music, she was an advocate against apartheid and white minority government in South Africa. Mariam Makeba, also known as Mama Africa, used her powerful voice to not only entertain but also to bring attention to the struggles faced by Black South Africans during the apartheid era. She became an international icon and used her platform to advocate for equality and justice. Mariam Makeba's songs like Pata Pata and Malaika touched the heart of many, and her activism made a lasting impact. She was a true inspiration to artists and activists around the world. Makeba achieved many notable accomplishments throughout her career. She was the first African artist to gain international recognition and popularity. Makeba's powerful voice and captivating performances brought African music to global audiences. She used her fame to raise awareness about apartheid and advocate for human rights. Makeba was also a UN Goodwill Ambassador and received numerous awards for her contributions to music and activism. Her legacy continues to inspire generations of artists and activists.
Welcome back. The World Health Organization has revealed that the multilateral mechanism for equitable global access to COVID-19 vaccines, COVAX, which was launched in 2020, will come to an end by December 31st, having delivered nearly 2 billion doses of vaccines to 146 economies. WHO said with support mechanism jointly led by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, Gavi, and United Nations Children's Fund, COVAX has achieved a great deal in vaccines and vaccination coverage, making the contract to end in the remaining days of 2023. The chairman of the board of Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, Jose Manuel Barroso, said COVID-19 has been the greatest health challenge of our time, and it was met with innovation and partnership on an equally unprecedented scale. The federal government says following the alarm raised over illegal organ harvesting, especially kidney in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, it has vowed to prosecute any medical practitioner or individual involved in the act. The Director of Media and Public Relations, Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, Ms. Patricia, made this known in a statement in Abuja. Ms. Patricia said persons who contravene or fail to comply with the provisions of the sections commit an offence and are liable on conviction or a fine of 1 million naira or imprisonment of not less than 2 years or both. She explained that it is pertinent to note that both the sellers and the buyers of these illegal trade are, as well as the medical practitioners and facilities where this criminal act is being performed, will face the full wrath of the law. The Lagos State Government Enforcement Team, led by the Traffic Management Authority, LASTMA, in a midnight operation has impounded over 60 illegally parked trucks along Sele Mile to Apapa Oshodi Expressway inward Port Access Road. The team, led by the LASTMA General Manager, Mr. Olalikan, and Director of Operations, also stated that the operation, in conjunction with the relevant security agencies, was to ensure seamless traffic for motorists and residents during and after the festive period. Now, the LASTMA Special Enforcement Team said it is acting on several reports over the illegal activities of truckers and the tanker drivers, despite the state governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu's directive to vacate and desist from incriminate parking in the axis and environ. Now, you may recall that the team also carried out a similar operation last week where over 78 illegally parked trucks were impounded on the top bridge by Lily Pond inward Apapa Port and the Sifax axis of Ijora or Lokba. Now, in the world of sports, the promoters of a Super League have announced the plans for a newly breakaway competition after the European Union's top court ruled that UEFA had used illegal tactics to stifle a previous project. Now, the European Court of Justice ruling did not constitute an endorsement of the Super League idea, which still faces a furious opposition from many football fans and from Europe's existing national leagues. But it makes a serious legal setback for UEFA and for soccer's world governing body, FIFA, finding that their tactic of threatening to ban future Super League clubs and players from taking part in their competitors broke EU law. However, several clubs, mostly from the Premier League, have denounced their participation in the Super League and pledged their allegiance to all UEFA's competitions. To end the VOP news at noon, here are the major stories we read earlier. Peter Obi says demolition of houses for presidential fleet is a self-project. CBN investigator discovers 593 illegal US, UK, China accounts operated by Godwin Emefiele. World shifts to regular COVID-19 vaccination immunization as COVAX ends operation. And a Lagos government special enforcement team impounds over 60 trucks in Apapa environs. Thank you for staying with us. I am Master Nachi Okafor. Good afternoon.